So, in an attempt to not die of an obesity-induced heart attack by the time I'm 45, and to avoid having to buy new pants, I'm working out. So, I'm going to try to swim every morning. And you'll notice that there's snow on the ground, and the sun isn't out. So I hate everything about this so far. Here we go.
Welcome to Illo Talk. This is Cory Kerr, and this is day 5 of Sticker Stint, where I'm going to make 30 stickers in 30 days. Today's sticker, you can see on the screen, is TV with Molotov cocktail rebelling against thinking. And I was thinking about why I would do that and things. And I like this image. I'm not exactly sure I like the sign thinking. I might throw an image of a brain in there or something, but anyway, kind of ran out of time, so this is one of those ones that might get reworked a little bit. Also, I did this on my iPad Pro, and this is definitely one of the ones that would have been way faster if I was able to use Adobe Illustrator, just because of all the shapes and things. I could have done this a lot faster than I did it just by drawing it all out rather than just building it in shapes. So, but anyway, so that's the sticker. And at the end of this video, you are going to see me rather embarrassingly talk about swimming. So last night, got to bed way late, couldn't sleep. And then about 4:45, I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to not sleep tonight. So I got up, and I was kind of getting ready for the semester to start because it starts on Monday. And then I was like, I'm going to go work out. And so I went to the school pool in the gym there, which opens at 5. And so I was down there, and swimming is a lot different than working out on land, right? And I've swam before. I'm a good swimmer, but I've never done competitive swimming, and I've never done swimming to exercise at all. And so it was a different experience. One of the things I noticed is that when I'm working out on land, like when I'm just normally working out, I have a much better sense of muscle fatigue and all of the things that kind of go along with, how far you can push yourself. And so I can usually push myself past the point of being winded, and that's fine, right? But in the water, I didn't realize how hard I was pushing myself, because I ended up pushing way too hard and I went way too far, because I am very, very out of shape. So anyway, so that was crazy. And you've got to focus on your breathing, and I'm doing freestyle, I think you call it, like forward crawl. And anyway, I did 8 lengths of the pool, so 4 laps, and I would rest in between each length. I'm pretty out of shape. It's been a number of years since I've actually been in shape. And anyway, I was like, I'll just do these last 2 real quick. So I did the last lap pretty fast, and then halfway through the last length, I was like, oh my gosh, I've pushed too hard. I looked at, and I was like, oh, I'm too deep. I can't touch. I can't stop. I have to finish this length or I'm going to drown. And so luckily I didn't drown. I probably should have, if I had my wits about me, because at that point in time I didn't realize how far I'd pushed it and how tired I had gotten. If I had my wits about me, I would have just turned on my back and just done a back crawl or something. But anyway, long story short, I get out of the pool. I get that vignette of stars kind of closing in that happens right before you're going to pass out. It's like, oh crap, I'm going to pass out. So I sat down. I made my way into the locker room, and I just laid down on the bench for 20 minutes, trying not to throw up and trying not to pass out. and it was terrible. Like I had like cold sweats and everything. And it was crazy. And the crazy thing about it is that I didn't feel, while I was doing it, I didn't feel tired. I was winded for sure, but I didn't feel tired because like the water doesn't allow your muscles to like heat up to the point where the fatigue feels a lot different than underwater than it does on land. Anyway, it was nuts. I'm really glad I did it today because my plan was I'm going to do that before class every day. And so had I done that Monday morning before class, I would have missed class because I had the option of standing up and passing out or just laying there. Those are the two things that I could do. That was it. And so it took me about 20 minutes to be able to get to my feet. And then after that 20 minutes is when I recorded this segment of the video. And you'll see I'm pretty pathetic. So anyway, but I will become less and less pathetic as time goes on because I'm going to keep working out. I don't think I'm going to swim every day though. I think I'll swim 3 times a week, just to kind of mix it up a little bit. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. And I will I'll pace myself more. And I now know that 8 lengths of the pool, like in a full-on sprint, is beyond my ability right now. So anyway, that was kind of crazy, a little embarrassing. Also, like, I'm not like morbidly obese, but I'm definitely not in shape, and I definitely don't look great when I take my shirt off. And so being around all these people who are 15 years younger than I am and swim all the time, and I get to like hang out as kind of like the fat old guy. That was a blast. That was wonderful. So anyway, so that's how I started my day. Not sleeping, swimming, almost passing out, and then around 7:30 I came home after getting a little bit of work done in the office, and I was like, holy crap, I'm so tired. And so then I went to bed at about 8 a.m. I slept till about noon, so I did get a little bit of sleep. But that put me behind because then I had to get ready for the semester. So I didn't actually get ready. I wasn't actually able to start this sticker until like 9 o'clock tonight. And anyway, so that's why this is later and whatnot. It's kind of a last minute ditch effort. And I don't like using words necessarily when symbols could work. And so I think I am going to throw a brain in there instead of the word thinking. But I do want to talk about why I did that. And so the reason that I'm talking about, having the television represent kind of the entertainment industry, there's modes of thinking, right? And I love TV, I love movies, I love video games. But if that's the only thing that I do in my life, then I waste a lot. And you never think, right? All of those things are called programmed time. And so programmed time is where somebody else makes decisions on how you think and feel for you, right? And it happens with music, not as much with music, but a little bit with music. But it mainly happens with visuals and audio, right? And so you're looking at movies, video games, television, things like that. That's programmed time. Reading is kind of halfway in between unprogrammed and programmed time. And the reason is somebody else is deciding kind of the ideas that are entering your mind, but you are actually creating in your mind's eye the visuals that go along with that. And so reading is a fairly engaging activity that is really, really useful. And so audiobooks, for that matter, you're only hearing the words, but you see what's going on in your mind, and so you visualize, and so it's a fairly engaging thing. But they've done studies that your brain waves when you are watching television, your brain is actually lower, like the brain waves are lower than when you are asleep, when you're resting. And so it's not great. And I've heard psychologists say, neurologists and psychologists say that when you are developing your brain, like in the first 5 to 7 years of your life, that is the time when you should not be a lot of screens. And my daughter watched a little bit of TV. She watches a lot of TV now. I watched a ton of TV growing up, so I don't think TV is innately evil. But I do want to talk about the benefits of what is called the default mode network. And the default mode network happens, it's a state of mind that happens when you are in what neurologists say is called a state of restful wakefulness. And restful wakefulness is when you are awake and not tired, but not engaged. It's unprogrammed time. It's when you daydream, right? And so there's a number of benefits. The first benefit is creativity. And I wrote a thing, and you guys can read this if you want. You can go to turnofftoactivate.com, which is a website that I built to kind of explain this process. But anyway, one thing is boredom, right? Boredom increases creativity. Taking a moment to allow yourself to be bored has significant benefits. With technology, we are constantly busy or entertained. Boredom is a mental state that demands relief. And neurologists say that boredom is such an uncomfortable and horrible state of mind that your mind actually goes into overdrive and is way more active during times of boredom than it is during times of being entertained, because, as they say, an idle mind seeks a toy, right? And so when your mind is not engaged during a state of restful wakefulness, when you're not in programmed time, and you're in unprogrammed time, your brain goes into overdrive because it doesn't want to be bored. And so you actually are better at problem solving. Studies on boredom prove that small amounts of downtime significantly increase your ability to be creative. Researchers had 3 groups of people: a control group, a group that copied phone numbers out of the phone book, and a group that just read the phone book. And after doing this, the people were put through a series of tests that measure their creativity. The second group, which just copied numbers out of the phone book, outperformed the control group, which was watching TV. And the third group, which just read the phone book, outperformed the second group. And so the more bored you are in short stints, not like, they've actually done studies that like boredom will drive you insane if you have it in too much, like if you're in solitary confinement or isolation, you'll lose your mind. But boredom in short stints, the amount of boredom that you have is directly correlated to the amount of creativity that you have. And so the studies show that there is a direct correlation between your level of boredom and your creativity. Okay. The other thing is memory. So when you have downtime, it allows your mind time to replay the events and interactions with other people and help solidify memories, affirm your identity, and increase your empathy to develop your code of ethics, right? And so all of those things are really interesting. So what happens is that you replay those events in your mind, and you replay them with different scenarios, different outcomes, and we've all done this, where you walk away from a fight or something, and then 10 or 15 minutes later, as you're kind of like huffing to yourself, and you didn't turn on the radio or whatever, and you're just like thinking about it, you think of like the perfect comeback. That's because your mind has taken that time to replay that and try out different scenarios. And so that helps move things from short-term memory into long-term memory, and it also helps you empathize with the other people in those situations because you play it through in different scenarios. Studies show that taking a break allows your brain to replay events and process information. This downtime is crucial for your ability to remember and recall things you have learned, and scientists have studied rats' brains as they navigate a maze. Later, in an unstimulating environment, the rats have the same electrical patterns as they did while running the maze. When the scientists interrupt the rats during this replay, it decreases the rat's ability to navigate the maze. Kind of interesting, right? The last one I want to talk about is empathy. Replaying your interactions with other people allows your mind to gauge the appropriateness of your behavior and rehearse how you will act in the future. We've all thought, I wish I would have said X, the next time that happens I'm going to do whatever. And these scenarios we run in our minds during the daydreaming of our downtime help us instill a code of ethics and a moral compass. And that's why the upcoming generation is concerning, is because there's so many screens and so little downtime that they've done studies, and like younger generations that are coming up through high school now, they almost don't even understand why cheating is bad. There's a number of things with that, but they just think that's not that big of a deal, right? And a lot of that is because they don't have the mental downtime to replay and rethink, and build kind of this code of ethics. These scenarios that we run in our mind during the daydreaming for downtime help us instill this code of ethics and a moral compass. And we decide who we are, how we should act, and what our actions and how our actions affect others during these replays of our experiences. And the good news is that you actually have something called neuroplasticity. And neuroplasticity is merely that your brain will physically change to what you want it to. And so you can train your brain to change based on, the stimulus that you get it. And so if you are addicted to something, if you are whatever, those type of things. So they did a study with cab drivers, and they noticed this thing. So I'll just read this part. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to adapt to our experiences and environment. In other words, you might not be able to teach an old dog new tricks, but people can train their brains to be better at memory, creativity, and empathy. Your brain physically changes to adapt your learning and environment. A study showed that the portion of the brain involved in navigations was significantly larger in London taxi drivers who have to navigate all day compared to bus drivers who drive the same route each day. In addition to that, one study done on people training to become taxi drivers showed an increase in the size of this portion of the brain after they had become proficient in driving taxi. Their brains literally changed the shape of that part of them to adapt to their learning and environments. Studies have shown that only 20 to 30 minutes a day of mental downtime has huge benefits. It can become a very structured practice like mindfulness meditation, or something simple like not looking at your phone in bed and in the restroom. The point is that unplugging and allowing yourself to be bored for just a few minutes every day will significantly increase your mental abilities, your creativity, your memory, and your empathy. And so, anyway, that's kind of what this sticker is about. There's my little ramble kind of thing. But hopefully you enjoyed that. Now enjoy me embarrassingly being winded, and we will catch you guys tomorrow on day 6. Oh, by the way, you can catch my stuff at corykerr.com, and if you want to jump in on a sticker stint, you can start anytime you want. It's really fun, and there's a lot of benefits to it, and you can check all that out at corykerr.com/stickerstint, and just make sure to share it somewhere with the hashtag stickerstint. We'll catch you guys later. I'm out.
It's always worse than I imagine it. Oh, I feel like crap. So, it's been a while since I worked out. And I just did 4 laps in an Olympic-sized pool. And I'm not a swimmer. I mean, I know how to swim, but I'm not like a whatever. Anyway, a lap is there and back, right? Because if not, if it's just one way, then I did 8. That was probably 1 lap too many, so probably overdid it. But day 1 of exercising is out of the way, so that's cool. And some other fun things. I saw like stars and got like that encroaching vignette tunnel vision deal. So I laid down in the locker room on a bench for about 20 minutes before I felt like I could stand up. And I made it to my office after that, and that's where I am now. And I still feel like I'm going to pass out. So I think exercising is probably a good thing, because obviously I'm not in any kind of shape or condition to be doing what I'm doing. So, fun times. Yep, that's it. That's it. I'm way better at drawing than I am at moving my body, apparently, at the moment. So, dang you, Kevin Cross, Joshua Kimball, Scott Circlin, all these artists who are getting in shape, making me think I need to get in shape. Oh, it's terrible. Okay. And ironically, here's my Bearcat football from high school shirt that I've got on, proving that at one point in time
I wasn't a horribly out of shape, disgusting slob. Okay. Alright. So, I don't even know what picture I'm going to do today because I'm recording this before I drew anything, so enjoy whatever's on the screen, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow.